Hello and welcome to Neil's Spanish Fly Box. I hope you're all keeping well. I've said on many occasions that flies can be interpreted in different ways. And the gasolina, it can be tied on different hooks with different coloured beads, different coloured fibres for the tail, tied fat or thin, with or without a collar. And other manufacturers have produced their own tinsel for gasolina effect. But the moment that you cover the body in hens 233, whether you use scudback, ribbing band, or crystal flash, or on a spool, it is still a gasolina. Show a perdigon that's wrapped in hens 233 to any perdigon fisher in most countries and they'll say it's a gasolina. I'm going to tie a version that's generally accepted as the norm these days and not like the original which I showed in a previous video. Now to tie my version today I'm going to use pearl scudback for the body. For the tail, I'm going to use medium Pardo coq de lion and black thread to mount the fly. In the vise, I have a size 16 light nymph hook and a 2.8 copper bead. You can use whatever hook you really fancy, and with a corresponding bead. I say that if you're going to tie a size 20, you certainly don't want a 3.3 bead on it. So everything in proportion. Just mount that on there and trim off the excess thread. As I said, for the tail, I'm going to use a medium Pardo coq de lion. You don't need many fibres. 4 or 5 should be sufficient. Some people like less and sometimes they like more. I'll tie that in. Pull it to length. Now, the length of the tail you don't want longer than the length of the fly. So that's about right. And now I've taken off a piece of scudback tinsel and I'm going to tie that in. And wind down to the bend of the hook. And trim off the excess butt and the excess tinsel. Now, these 3 flies are all tied with 233. One is a scudback, one is ribbing, and one is crystal flash. Now, it is important that you get this round the right way because they are all classed as brown and one side is definitely greener. Now what I've done, I've tied one specifically in reverse to show you what it looks like when it's not right, when it's gone wrong. So let's tie in this tinsel. I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on the top just to hold it in place, like so. And let's see about winding this on, hopefully with the flash in the right place. Wind this back up to the bead. touching turns back up to the bead area. And tie that off. And trim up. The other thing to be careful of is that you don't pull it when you are tying the tinsel, because it will change its colour. Right, now I'm just going to tie that off. Now you can use this as a collar or just as a tie-off, whichever. If it wants to be a collar, it needs to be a little bit thicker. Right, I'm going to put some UV on that. A lot. And give it a zap. And if you're using a thin UV, you can put another coat on if you want. Get rid of that excess. And zap it. Right, that is the Perdigón finished, and it is pretty well the standard tying for a Perdigón. Now, it would not be prudent to call this Perdigón Uncle Bob's Special Competition Reflective Green Perdigón, for example. It is a myth, or at best a misconception, that this is anything but a Gasolina Perdigón. If you're using Hen's 233, any of their materials, it will be a Gasolina. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider being so, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.